Good morning and good afternoon, good day. Happy New Year. Happy and welcome to 2025. I think that some Fridays for me, have a lot of energy. This and are free flowing most of the time. This Friday and today has a lot of peace and calmness and gratitude. Like I'm thankful for the sunshine and I'm thankful to see not only another year, but another day and another moment. So, happiest of New Year's Day to you. And welcome to 2025. So, last week I talked about this idea of selecting a word for the year, and I gave three quick points as to why and how do you live your word. And I said that I would share this week how it presents itself to me and each year. And so in 2020, we started this practice, not kind of really knowing and understanding, but believing the process and saying, okay, we're going to try it. And so my husband and I selected a words in 2020, and they were abundance and overflow. And I think I talked a little bit about that last year. I went back and looked them up. They're posted in my office. So I went back and looked up the words for each year. In 2021, my word was freedom. My husband's word was discernment. So it was freedom and discernment. 2022, my word was focus. I wanted to be a little more focused and intentional. And then in 2023, I had build and my husband had engage. 2024, which was this past year, the preceding year, my word was content. His was to elevate. And so in 2025, my word is faith. And my husband's word is journey. And so, how did I get to this word of faith? And I said that a lot of times it presents itself to us, and it is internally driven. He and I do not sit down and chit chat about what we think that our words should be. And I'm still fairly clear that it has to come to and through and for and with me, and it's mine. So it's like a non negotiable. I don't need any input in figuring out what my word or my clarity or my guiding light is going to be for the coming year. So this year, about 3 months ago, we have a podcast and a show that airs live in our community. But podcasts are found on nowdecatur.com as well as Apple Podcasts. You can find the Morse code. But this year we also started a quick 10 or 15-minute Sunday morning podcast called Sunday Mornings. And all we talk about is kind of the scripture, and we pick a scripture and we talk about it and think about it and pray about it and just have a quick conversation about one particular scripture in the Bible, and we do it together. And so last quarter four of 2024, we shifted, and our theme for the last 3 months of the year was faith. And so every Sunday morning, and you can find the old ones on nowdecatur.com under podcast and Sunday mornings, you'll see a picture of Dr. JK and I. But we had just many discussions about this idea of faith. And it came up because we always hear the scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. And I'm like, it has to be more, right? And so, yes, that is good. It's quite amazing and great, actually. But faith has to be more, and it has to be greater. And so we started down this journey of looking at and just doing many lessons on faith and how it presents itself in certain scriptures. And we've done it every Sunday for 3 months. And so the first thing said, hey, there was this thing like, your word is faith. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm being lazy because we've looked at faith for the last 2 or 3 months. That can't be the word. And we got to one scripture in Luke that really resonated with me. And the scripture is Luke 1 and 38. And it says, and I'm just shortening it because there's a lot going on. It's pretty good, actually. There's a lot going on. But it says, "Be it unto me according to thy word." And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, right? Be it unto me, to me, according to your word. And the scripture before that says, "For with God nothing shall be impossible." God, dog. For with him nothing shall be impossible. So this idea of faith means for me, be it unto me according to thy word. And so that hit me. And I'm like, okay, I think my word is faith, because you have to have an abundance of faith in order to say, be it unto me according to your word. So that was one. Scripture knocked me over and was like, yeah. It feels right. I think this is it. Went to church that following Sunday, and the sermon, very different than what we had discussed, was the exact same scripture. I looked at my husband, he looked at me. I'm like, oh my God. Two, it presented itself again, unbeknownst to me or anybody else. Okay, I'm cool. I'm all in. I'm good. I'm good. And then, probably within 2 or 3 days, I received a text from my best friend, my girlfriend, and it was just a sermon short from Darius Daniels from the exact same scripture. Exact same scripture. Shut the entire front door. Okay, I'm cool. I'm good. I can go on myintent.org, order my little necklace, get my word. Because for me, it shows up in different ways. This is just the way that my word for the year presented itself. And I can give you 2 or 3 more other places and ways in which the exact same word showed up for me, to let me know that as I'm heading into a new year, that my word is faith. Right? Before it has presented itself, even when we're traveling, I saw like a little patch, and I picked up the patch, I bought the patch, put it on my vision board, and I was not struggling, but I was having a dance with the word because it was a pretty strong word. Um, and and so this is how this faith showed up for me as my word for 2025. Um, there is a sense of relinquishing a little bit of control, right? And we have to. If we're going to trust what's being given, then that means I can't control how it comes to me. There's a sense of loosening the grip and allowing my life and my experience while I'm here to be a journey that can grow and grow beyond what I can ever imagine. When I looked at faith, here, because it's more than just spiritual or religious. It's so much more than that. And here is why. Because if we are living an intentional life, it means that it all flows together, which means for me that faith has to show up in my parenting. Faith has to show up in my marriage. Faith has to show up in my spiritual life and practices. Faith has to show up in my work. Faith has to show up in my actions in which I serve other people and other communities. It's how do we align our life to allow all the spaces to permeate one another. And so as I select a word for this year, it means that it has to be, or it will present itself in any manner of ways if my life is aligned and not necessarily compartmentalized or balanced, right? And so faith says that I want to operate and live and work with complete trust or confidence. I want to operate and live and work and be along my journey in complete trust and confidence. And so when those things present themselves to me, if there's an inkling of not trusting, it's not for me. If something presents itself to me as a mother for my kids, if there's an inkling of I'm not sure, or we don't have, if it's not intended for us, faith says I can walk away from that, knowing that I haven't missed a thing that's for me. It starts to frame and guide and control how I respond and react and engage in this lifetime. And so for 2025, my word is faith. And the origin of that is Luke 1:38 that presented itself countless times, unbeknownst to me. Be it unto me according to thy word. That is the ultimate faith. And I can have that because the preceding word says, for with God nothing shall be impossible. Which means that gives me the ability, the courage, the strength to rest in this idea that I can have complete faith and trust in someone or something that's greater than me. Now, I can move through my day with a little more swag, right? Okay, what's your word? Make sure that it's your word. Make sure that it resonates with you. Don't worry about how it's going to present itself for you in 2025. Don't dismiss it, but also don't try to control it. There's a nice space in there where you allow the word to permeate throughout your life. Thank y'all for listening. For those that signed up for courses in January and in February, thank you, thank you, thank you. There will be more courses and more announcements. I'm super excited about some of the things that is going to require me to have an abundance of faith, right? But I can do it all through Him that I've been called to do. I don't want to do all your stuff. I don't want to do all nobody else's stuff. I just want to do all of my stuff and be fully present for me. So please continue to check the website at juanitamorris.com and subscribe to YouTube and subscribe to the website. They get some cool offers from me. And I will see you next week. And have an amazing and a wonderful day, weekend, and prepare for the awesomeness that will present itself for you in 2025. See you next week.